Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we're tackling a company that's been requested quite a bit, MARA Holdings. And the big question, based on the pretty extensive sources we've looked at, is really quite simple. Is MARA Holdings a good buy right now?
Yeah, we've gone through a stack of analyses, fundamentals, technicals, competitive positioning, the whole lot to really break down the compelling case here, but also the volatile one.
Okay, before we really get into the weeds, just a quick reminder, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give us a like, it helps us out, and leave a comment below. Seriously, if there's a specific company you want us to look into next time, let us know in those comments. Right, let's jump straight in, because the main thing, the sort of core narrative that jumps out from everything we read is this pivot. MARA Holdings seems to be moving really fast from being, just a Bitcoin miner to something much broader, a digital infrastructure and AI compute company. That change, that transformation, that's really the heart of the story here, isn't it? And it seems to be why the valuation is shifting so much.
Exactly. It's not just a small adjustment. It feels like a real structural shift. And what's critical, I think, is that the numbers they posted while they were still mainly mining, well, they show huge operational strength, which kind of suggests they might actually pull off this pretty difficult pivot.
Okay, let's unpack the financials first then. The 2024 numbers, frankly, they look incredibly strong. Revenue came in at $656.4 million for the year. That's a massive 69% jump year over year from 2023's $387.5 million. That's just staggering growth, especially for a company in such a, cyclical sector.
Right, and it's not just top-line growth, it's the profitability, the margins. Net income absolutely surged, $541.3 million in 2024. That's a 109% increase over the previous year. Getting that kind of profit in crypto mining, which is notoriously volatile, it really suggests management did a good job insulating the business, It validates the operational skill they're now trying to apply to AI.
And the sources, they seem to credit some of that to specific efficiency things they've done. Can you quickly explain why these components, like proprietary mining firmware and their liquid immersion cooling systems, why are they such a big deal right now? Does that really give them a tech edge over, say, standard air-cooled setups?
Oh, absolutely. And this is really key to their competitive advantage, their moat, as they say. When we talk about proprietary firmware, we mean like custom software they've developed. It optimizes the mining gear to get the maximum processing power, the hash rate, while using less electricity. Think of it like tuning a race car engine for peak performance and fuel efficiency. And the liquid immersion cooling, that lets them run these high-density data centers way cheaper than traditional methods. They can pack more servers, more powerful ones, into less space and keep them cool. That drastically cuts down operating costs, which, boosts those margins we were just talking about.
Got it. So that tech advantage seems to underpin their market position. The reports describe MARA Holdings as the leading digital asset tech provider in the U.S. and Europe.
Precisely. That big digital infrastructure footprint they have, plus those patented cooling techs, it gives them a real sustainable edge. It makes it very hard for smaller, newer players to compete effectively at scale. And the company saw this coming, right? That's why they did that rebranding from Marathon Digital Holdings to MRA Holdings back in August 2024. That was a very clear signal to the market. Hey, we're an infrastructure play now, not just a cyclical miner.
Okay, looking at the balance sheet then, reports confirm high liquidity, strong free cash flow, which is good for funding those tech upgrades, and a pretty hefty market cap, $7.5 billion. So on the surface, looks healthy, flexible, just what you'd want before a major strategic shift.
But here's where we hit maybe the biggest immediate financial red flag in the sources. It's about financing the expansion. Yes, liquidity is high, but one really detailed report flagged a recent dramatic rise in debt. Specifically, a $2.65 billion increase.
Wow, $2.65 billion. That's a huge number.
It really is. And it prompted some strong warnings about, future cash flow management, leverage ratios. Now, management will argue, look, this is the cost of growing fast, but we have to ask that critical question. Are they potentially setting themselves up for a liquidity problem if Bitcoin's price doesn't hold up? Or maybe if this AI pivot takes longer to actually make money than they expect? Is the market totally convinced this debt is going into assets that will generate revenue quickly? Or are they maybe overreaching a bit? That contrast, high liquidity but rapidly rising debt, that's something you absolutely need to watch. Critical.
Yeah, that debt management piece will definitely be a focus on the Q3 earnings call, I imagine. Okay, so let's pivot slightly. Let's look at market sentiment and the technicals. If the fundamentals look strong, but there's this significant debt risk, are the charts, the technical indicators keeping pace?
Well, right now, the technical picture is pretty unequivocally bullish. The stock's price action has been strong. It's been forming that classic sequence of higher lows and higher highs over the last quarter. The projected trading range for the next 3 months is wide, which reflects that volatility, but it's favorable. $17 on the low end, $30 on the high end.
Okay, and what about key levels? Where should people watching this be focusing?
Key support seems pretty well defined around the $17 mark. For resistance, the near-term levels line up quite neatly with what analysts are saying. You've got the median analyst target at $22.38, and then that higher new-term target at $30. Momentum indicators back this up too. The price is consistently staying above both its 50-day moving average, which is around $16.98, and the 200-day, currently near $15.94. And the RSI, the relative strength index, it's at 68.3. So showing strength, but not quite into that technically overbought territory yet.
Right. Now let's talk about that volatility flag you mentioned. The beta is listed as 6.35. For listeners who aren't deep into technicals, that number sounds, well, astronomical.
It is astronomical. So beta measures how much a stock moves compared to the overall market, like the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. A beta of 1 means it moves in line with the market. A beta of 6.35 suggests that if the Nasdaq moves, say, 1% on a given day, MRA could theoretically move over 6%. That's huge. This isn't just high volatility, it's real roller coaster territory. It clearly signals this stock is probably best suited for active traders or investors with a really, really high tolerance for risk.
So strong technicals, but expect a bumpy ride, which seems to fit with the overall view from analysts, actually. The consensus is a strong buy rating, looking at 14 analysts, with that average price target of $22.38 suggesting, what, about a 10.6% upside from where it is now?
Exactly. And adding to that, we saw increased buying from ETFs and mutual funds in the second and third quarters of 2025. That suggests significant institutional money flowing and strategic money. That reinforces confidence in the stock's direction. You know, institutional investors don't usually pile into purely cyclical, unstable companies. They seem to be buying into that structural resilience story we saw in the 2024 financials.
And even when there's a bit of caution, it still seems underpinned by confidence. Like that JP Morgan target adjustment, they moved it from $22 down to $20, but they kept their overweight rating. So maybe cautious about the risks, that debt, the execution of the pivot, but still fundamentally confident where the business is heading.
Which brings us right back to the strategic pivot itself, doesn't it? Because that's where the future valuation really lies. If they can execute this transition successfully, then that debt becomes much more manageable, and the stock could potentially achieve a higher, maybe less volatile valuation multiple over time.
Right. This is where it gets really interesting, the actual strategic moves they're making. The sources highlight MRA is aggressively diversifying beyond just mining. Operationally, the core mining business still looks strong. They produced, 736 Bitcoin in September, up 4% from the previous month. And they hit 99% uptime at their facility in Hannibal, Ohio. So the basic infrastructure is humming along.
Yeah, the lights are definitely on. But the focus has clearly shifted to future revenue. In September 2025, they announced more investment into AI compute infrastructure. And crucially, this isn't just about building data centers anywhere. It's about strategically building European data centers, specifically designed to be GDPR compliant, plus setting up a headquarters in Paris.
Okay, why is that GDPR compliance piece so critical for their European expansion?
Well, that's basically their ticket to entry for high-margin corporate contracts in the EU. Data privacy, data sovereignty, these are huge deals over there. By making sure they're GDPR compliant right out of the gate, they remove a massive hurdle for large European companies that need high-performance computing or AI services. They're actively trying to broaden their revenue base, moving away from just being tied to Bitcoin's price swings and shifting towards longer-term enterprise service contracts. That's the goal.
And that commitment, it seems like it was solidified by a really important partnership, right? The agreement with EDF Pulse Ventures to expand their global AI and HPC capabilities through that subsidiary, Xion. That feels like a big validation.
Oh, it's more than just validation. It's strategic alignment with a major energy player. EDF is a massive name, especially in Europe. Partnering with their investment arm, it not only offers potential capital down the line, but it also validates MRA's expertise in things like power management and building out this complex infrastructure. It basically confirms that other major industry players see MRA as a legitimate, high-growth infrastructure partner, not just some, crypto mining curiosity.
So if we connect all these dots, these strategic moves, these pivots, they're expected to be the main drivers of future revenue. And that's why these upcoming events are so critical, potentially for a near-term trade, too.
Absolutely. The Q3 earnings release that's scheduled for November 11th, 2025, that's seen as a potential immediate catalyst for upside. Investors won't just be looking for strong year-over-year growth, which is kind of expected at this point. They'll be hunting for the first real hard evidence and maybe some solid guidance on how that AI monetization strategy is actually progressing.
And beyond the official numbers, the sources also point to quite a bit of high-stakes chatter, right? Unconfirmed speculation floating around. Things like potential strategic partnerships with other European data center operators.
Yeah.
And maybe imminent announcements about deals related to that new Paris data center.
Exactly. And then there's the ongoing speculation that NARA might be looking at acquisitions either in Europe or North America to speed up building out that AI footprint. The market seems to be pricing in successful execution right now. So if any of these rumors turn into actual news, especially combined with strong Q3 results, well, that could really fuel some significant momentum. It could potentially push the stock up towards that $30 resistance level pretty quickly.
Okay, but despite all these bullish signals, the fundamentals, the catalysts, we absolutely have to circle back to the risks. The sources lay them out clearly, and we can't just ignore them.
Correct. You have to weigh both sides. The primary risk, it's just inherent to the sector they started in, Bitcoin price volatility. Even with the pivot, the price of Bitcoin still directly impacts their revenue and, importantly, the perceived value of the Bitcoin they mine and hold on their balance sheet. That risk hasn't disappeared.
And then there's that execution risk we touched on earlier.
That's the second big hurdle. Any delays or worse, failures in rolling out these new technologies, scaling up the liquid cooling, integrating the AI systems efficiently that could seriously dent their expected margin expansion. And if margins don't expand as planned, suddenly that $2.65 billion debt load starts to look a whole lot heavier.
Right. And finally, regulation. That's always hanging over this space. Potential policy changes, especially adverse ones regarding digital assets in the EU or the US, that's a constant regulatory risk, particularly as they plant a bigger flag in Europe with these data centers.
True. However, the overall analysis in the sources still concludes that MARA's strong fundamentals and that competitive moat we discussed should help it outperform, even if the broader sector hits a downturn. The final assessment, sort of boiling it all down, gives MARA Holdings an extremely confident overall bullish rating. It was actually a 9 out of 10 in the analysis we reviewed.
Wow, a 9 out of 10. That's remarkably high, especially considering the debt and that crazy volatility. So what's the final thesis summary for our listener? How do we wrap this up?
Okay, the core investment thesis rests on a few pillars. First, accelerated growth, which we've seen. Second, positive technical momentum, which is currently backed by strong institutional buying. Third, multiple near-term catalysts, specifically that upcoming earnings report and the potential for positive news flow around the European expansion. And fourth, those long-term structural growth drivers, geographic expansion into Europe, continued tech development, and maybe even M&A activity in the broader digital infrastructure space.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, listening in? MARA Holdings seems to present this really compelling story. It's operational excellence meeting a very high-stakes strategic transformation. They're attempting this major leap, moving from being largely cyclical and tied to a commodity, Bitcoin, towards being structurally positioned in the high-growth, high-performance computing market.
And the analysis suggests the stock is kind of uniquely attractive, but for two very different types of people right now. For the short-term trader, it looks appealing because of those immediate catalysts, the Q3 earnings, the potential news flow about Europe. Those could create volatility and trading opportunities. For the long-term investor, it's positioned as an excellent way to target structural growth in digital infrastructure. If, and it's a big if, they execute that AI pivot successfully.
Right. So the core narrative for anyone holding long-term is crystal clear. It all comes down to execution. Can they successfully transition and start monetizing that AI and data center strategy? But crucially, can they manage that massive $2.65 billion debt load while they unlock these complex new European revenue streams? That balance, that's going to determine the long-term risk profile and the stock's trajectory. That's really the key factor to monitor super closely over the next, say, 12 months.
Absolutely. That's the tightrope they're walking.
Okay, so a final provocative thought for you to mull over. Given that astronomical beta we talked about, 6.35, are you really positioned, both strategically in your portfolio and maybe financially, to ride out the kind of sharp, maybe even breathtaking, swings that seem inherent in this sector, especially during such a rapid transformation? Are you truly investing in the underlying fundamental excellence they've shown? Or are you prepared for the sheer volatility that comes with this kind of major pivot? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this breakdown of the source material on MRA Holdings. We really hope this has helped clarify the investment case, both the opportunities and the risks. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, especially if there's another company you'd like us to analyze. We look forward to seeing you in our next session.